Gemini, stop scrolling. This is not random. January 30th, 2026 is not an ordinary day in your love life. The Tower has entered your relational field, and when the Tower arrives, something false cannot stand. Take a slow breath with me. You may have already felt it building. A strange tension in conversations. A delay in responses that feels heavier than usual. A subtle shift in someone's tone. Maybe you told yourself you were overthinking. Maybe you tried to keep things light, playful, casual. But the universe runs on structure and timing. And on this date, January 30th, 2026, the structure is being tested. Welcome back to Celestial Insight. Gemini, this is not about fear. This is about alignment. The Tower is not chaos without purpose. It is correction. It is the lightning strike that exposes what was never reinforced properly. It is the moment the universe says, "We cannot carry this forward." And for you, ruled by Mercury, this energy often manifests through information, words, realizations, truths spoken out loud that were once only hinted at. You might wake up feeling slightly restless, slightly on edge. Conversations that once felt effortless now feel weighted. You may sense that someone is withholding something, or maybe you are. The Tower doesn't only expose others, it exposes you. Let me mirror what some of you are feeling right now. You've been sensing inconsistency, but you didn't want to disrupt the connection. You've noticed emotional gaps, but you filled them with humor. You've been intellectually defending someone whose actions didn't quite align, and part of you hoped time would stabilize it. January 30th is the day time runs out on that strategy. The Tower card in love is not gentle. It is sudden clarity. It is a revelation that cannot be unseen. A message that changes the narrative. A conversation that shifts everything. But understand this deeply. The Tower does not destroy what is solid. It only collapses what was unstable. If your connection is built on honesty, mutual effort, and emotional maturity, it will withstand this test. It may feel pressure, but it will not crumble. If it is built on mixed signals, emotional avoidance or illusion, the cracks will widen. This phase isn't about action. It's about awareness. The universe is watching how you respond, not how fast you react. Gemini, your mind moves quickly. You can craft the perfect reply in seconds. You can analyze tone, timing, punctuation. But this moment requires something deeper than intelligence. It requires emotional steadiness. January 30th, 2026 sits at the end of the first month of a new year. January is foundational. The energy we carry through this month sets the tone for the cycle ahead. If something unstable followed you from 2025 into 2026, it cannot remain hidden. The Tower will not allow weak foundations to enter a year designed for elevation. Ask yourself quietly, where have I been tolerating less than I deserve? Where have I been confusing chemistry with compatibility? Where have I been staying because the connection feels exciting, even if it doesn't feel safe? The Tower is radical honesty. Some of you may experience a direct confrontation, a partner admitting something, a hidden truth surfacing, a realization that someone's intentions were not aligned with their words. Others may experience something internal, a quiet but undeniable knowing that you've outgrown the dynamic. And here is the key. Do not panic. When the tower strikes, the ego reacts. It wants to fix, to defend, to win. But the soul observes. This is not a moment to send 10 paragraphs. This is not a moment to expose someone publicly. This is not a moment to burn bridges dramatically. This is a moment to witness. Because what is falling apart now was already cracked. If something ends abruptly around this date, understand this clearly. It is not punishment. It is protection. The universe removes what blocks your expansion. Not to hurt you, but to free you. There is something quietly aligning behind the scenes. A more stable love. A more grounded partner. A dynamic where you don't have to decode behavior at midnight. But that future cannot enter while you are holding on to ambiguity. Gemini, you thrive in variety, stimulation, conversation. But 2026 is not a year for chaotic love. It is a year for sustainable love. The tower clears the chaos. You may feel shock. You may feel relief. You may feel both at once. That is normal. The lesson here is this. If it collapses, it was not constructed with your highest self in mind. Do not chase clarity from someone who thrives in confusion. Do not rebuild what the universe clearly dismantled. And most importantly, do not assume the worst before the truth fully reveals itself. The tower energy unfolds in layers. What you see at first is only the beginning. Stay with me, Gemini. In the next chapter, we are going deeper into exactly how this energy manifests in relationships, romantic and platonic, and what signs to look for when the lightning strikes. Because once you understand the pattern, you stop fearing the storm. This moment is not random. It is timed, and it will make sense later. Gemini, now we move from anticipation into recognition. January 30th, 2026 is not just symbolic. It is experiential. The tower energy does not stay theoretical. It shows up in real conversations, real silences, real decisions. And because you are ruled by Mercury, this earthquake often begins with information. A message that feels different. A confession you weren't expecting. A truth revealed indirectly. A pattern that suddenly becomes undeniable. The tower in relationships is exposure. It pulls back the curtain. It reveals structural weaknesses you may have sensed but avoided naming. And for Gemini, avoidance often looks like humor, distraction, or intellectualizing feelings instead of sitting with them. Let's talk about the ways this could manifest for you around January 30th, 2026. For some of you, it will be a shocking revelation about someone's intentions. Perhaps you believed you were moving towards something defined, only to discover the other person was comfortable keeping things undefined. Perhaps someone admits they were unsure. Or worse, someone else was in the picture. The tower does not negotiate with half-truths. For others, it may not be dramatic on the surface. It may be a subtle but irreversible realization. You wake up and suddenly see the dynamic clearly. The inconsistency. The emotional unavailability. The way you've been carrying more weight than you admitted. That clarity alone can feel like an earthquake. Gemini, this is the emotional mirror. You may already feel that something has been off, maybe. Conversations feel transactional. Maybe you are initiating more than you receive. Maybe your intuition has been whispering, but you silenced it because the connection felt stimulating. The tower is what happens when whispers become undeniable. Now let's speak about abrupt endings. Yes, for some Geminis, January 30th may bring a sudden breakup or a confrontation that leads to separation. If that happens, understand something crucial. The speed of the collapse reflects the fragility of the foundation. What is strong bends. What is weak breaks. If something dissolves quickly under pressure, it was not built with long-term stability. That is not a failure. It is information. For others, this energy will not end the relationship. It will transform it. Secrets come out. Resentment surface. The unspoken becomes spoken. And while the conversation may feel intense, it can create the possibility of rebuilding on honesty instead of assumption. But rebuilding requires accountability. This is where the prophetic guidance comes in. What is being tested right now is your tolerance for ambiguity. The universe is asking, will you continue accepting less than clarity because it feels familiar? Avoid this trap, trying to fix everything immediately. Gemini energy wants resolution. You want understanding. But the tower is not about fast solutions. It is about accurate assessment. If someone shows inconsistency, believe it. If someone deflects responsibility, note it. If someone avoids direct answers, observe it. Do not romanticize potential. Measure patterns. There is also another layer to this energy. The tower can expose your own internal contradictions. Have you been saying you want stability while entertaining instability? Have you been claiming emotional maturity while engaging in reactive communication? The tower is not here to shame you. It is here to refine you. January 30th, 2026 is positioned at the closing frequency of the month. January establishes structural themes for the year ahead. If instability is present now, it cannot carry forward unchallenged. The universe is not interested in comfort. It is interested in alignment. Some of you may experience this energy through friendship as well. A long-standing friend may reveal jealousy. Or you may realize you have outgrown a social dynamic that once felt aligned. The tower does not discriminate between romantic and platonic bonds. It exposes weak foundations wherever they exist. And here is something important. Not every confrontation requires dramatic expression. Sometimes the most powerful response is quiet recalibration, pulling your energy back. Adjusting access, observing without announcing. This phase isn't about proving a point. It's about protecting your energy. Gemini, you may feel the urge to talk it out with multiple people, to analyze every detail, to dissect tone and timing. But be careful. Over-analysis can distort clarity. Sometimes the truth is simple. If it feels unstable, it is unstable. If it feels inconsistent, it is inconsistent. Trust the simplicity of your intuition. And here is the quiet alignment happening beneath the surface. Standards are rising. Your tolerance for emotional confusion is decreasing. You are beginning to value peace over stimulation. That shift alone changes the kind of love you attract. Avoid revenge energy. Avoid passive-aggressive communication. Avoid public declarations meant to provoke a reaction. The universe is watching how you handle exposure. Respond, do not react. There may also be a temptation to return to something familiar once the dust settles. Nostalgia is powerful after disruption, but nostalgia edits reality. It removes the red flags and magnifies the highlights. Stay anchored in facts. Gemini, the Tower does not remove love. It removes illusion. If someone truly belongs in your life, they will meet you in accountability. They will not minimize your feelings. They will not gaslight your intuition. They will not disappear when conversations become real. If someone withdraws when clarity is required, that withdrawal is information. Over the next 48 to 72 hours surrounding January 30th, pay attention to consistency. Who shows up calmly? Who escalates? Who respects your space? Who pressures you? Character becomes visible after impact. And remember this, the universe is not dismantling your happiness. It is dismantling what blocks your authentic happiness. In the next chapter, we will talk about navigating the aftermath, because after exposure comes choice. After revelation comes responsibility. And Gemini, how you move after the storm determines the quality of what you build next. Stay grounded. Stay observant. The lightning only strikes what was never anchored. And what survives this is real. Gemini, now we arrive at the part most people rush past. The rebuilding. Not the dramatic moment. Not the lightning strike. But the quiet days after January 30th, 2026, when the dust settles and you are left standing in a new emotional landscape. This is where your power truly activates. The Tower has done its job. It exposed what was unstable. It revealed what was misaligned. It interrupted what could not continue in its current form. But the Tower never leaves empty ground without purpose. It clears space for construction that matches your evolution. And here's what you must understand. The universe runs on structure and timing. January 30th was not random. It was a checkpoint, a structural review, a realignment before the deeper relationship themes of 2026 unfold. Now the question is not, why did this happen? The question is, who am I becoming because this happened? Gemini, you are not meant to rebuild the same foundation with better decoration. You are meant to redesign the blueprint entirely. Let's talk about what authentic rebuilding looks like for you. First, it begins with emotional standards, not surface preferences. Not checklists. Standards, stability, reciprocity, transparency, calm, communication. These are not luxuries in 2026. They are requirements. If the Tower revealed inconsistency, your new standard becomes consistency. If it revealed emotional avoidance, your new standard becomes emotional presence. If it revealed dishonesty, your new standard becomes clarity without interrogation. Do you see how this works? The collapse teaches you the criteria. And here's the prophetic insight. This phase isn't about action. It's about discernment. The universe is watching how you choose, not how quickly you attach. There may be someone new entering your awareness in the weeks following January 30th, but do not rush to define it. Observe. Let actions unfold naturally. Let patterns reveal themselves without your interference. Healthy love does not require urgency. What should you avoid right now? Avoid rebuilding out of loneliness. Avoid re-entering dynamics that already showed structural cracks. Avoid mistaking apology for transformation. Words are not architecture. Behavior is. If someone from the past returns after the Tower moment, assess carefully. Has accountability been demonstrated? Has change been embodied? Or is this simply familiarity seeking comfort? Gemini, 2026 is not asking you to be cynical. It is asking you to be conscious. The long-term vision for your relationships is stability without stagnation, excitement without anxiety, communication without confusion. You do not have to sacrifice stimulation for security, but you must stop equating unpredictability with passion. Here is the emotional mirror again. You may feel both lighter and uncertain at the same time. Relief that truth is visible. Sadness that illusion dissolved. That duality is natural. Do not suppress it, but do not cling to what has already proven unstable. This is your phoenix rising moment. Not in flames, in composure. The tower taught you something essential. You cannot build forever on compromised foundations. At some point, gravity wins. January 30th was gravity correcting imbalance. Now what is quietly aligning? A connection that does not require decoding. A partner who speaks directly. A dynamic where you do not have to chase clarity. A friendship that feels balanced, not transactional. These energies are approaching, but only if you hold your new standard. If you lower your bar to avoid discomfort, you will repeat the cycle. If you maintain your discernment, you elevate the outcome. Gemini, here is your affirmation moving forward. I welcome relationships built on truth, not tension. I release what collapses and honor what stands. I choose stability without sacrificing authenticity. Say it slowly. Feel it. Because this moment is not the end of your love story. It is the editing phase. The tower is often misunderstood as destruction, but in reality, it is divine editing, removing scenes that no longer serve the narrative of your growth. Look ahead beyond January 30th. The year continues. Opportunities continue. Conversations continue. But now you are operating with clearer vision. You are less willing to entertain confusion, more willing to ask direct questions, more willing to walk away calmly. That calmness is evolution. Do not fear what fell. Fear only repeating it without awareness. And if you are currently in a relationship that survived the tower test, honor that. Have the mature conversation. Address the exposed cracks honestly. Rebuild intentionally. Relationships that withstand the tower often emerge stronger because illusion has been replaced with transparency. But if something ended, trust this. Endings create capacity. Capacity invites alignment. Gemini, your gift is adaptability. You are not meant to cling to structures that restrict you. You are meant to evolve beyond them. January 30th, 2026 will be remembered not as the day everything fell apart, but as the day everything real began. Hold your standard. Protect your peace. Choose slowly. Observe deeply. The storm revealed the truth. The truth revealed your strength. And what you build next will not require lightning to stay standing. If this message resonated, if you felt seen in this moment, subscribe to Celestial Insight and stay aligned with the timing of your evolution. Because this moment will make sense later.